I'm not even applying pressure to nobody right now. I'm not even doing my big one or nothing. And y'all still got my name in your mouth. That's the illest ever. Then you're talking about my son. Shut the up, Chastity. Real shit, though. You got those cases, those charges. Everybody trying to wonder why you're not locked up still. Because you know what you tested for. Schizophrenic. They took a hair sample. You told this shit to Tareen. Then your son OD'ing, you try to blame it on mommy.
Like with the child abuse, I violated those 2 probations, and that's how I got 2 different backup times. And they didn't care, I just had a baby.
Did you have your baby in jail?
Yes, Shakur.
Damn.
That's the one I be saying, free him, because he's in the system right now.
In the ever-evolving world of celebrity coverage, Chrisean Rock has become a lightning rod for media attention, not just for her music and reality television beginnings, but for the chaotic, controversial, and deeply personal stories dominating headlines. From viral physical altercations captured at public events to public feuds with ex-partner Blueface that fuel endless online debate. Recent reporting often blurs the line between news and spectacle. Meanwhile, Rock's forays into unexpected arenas like boxing sparring sessions with mainstream athletes have injected fresh twists into her narrative, prompting questions about how the press frames her agency versus sensationalism. This analysis will examine how different outlets prioritize conflict, gendered tropes, and personal vulnerability, revealing how media representation shapes public perception, often at the expense of nuance and context. Chrisean Rock, originally rising to fame through reality television, has become one of the most polarizing figures in contemporary celebrity culture. In the past year alone, media coverage of Rock has surged, focusing on her personal life, public altercations, and professional ambitions. A closer look at these headlines reveals patterns in how news outlets construct narratives about female celebrities, often oscillating between fascination, moral judgment, and sensationalism. One of the most striking aspects of recent coverage is the persistent emphasis on conflict. Headlines from outlets such as TMZ, The Shade Room, and even broader entertainment portals frequently highlight confrontations involving Rock, whether physical altercations in public spaces or social media disputes with fellow celebrities. For instance, reports detailing her highly publicized fallout with ex-partner Blueface consistently use language designed to evoke drama, framing Rock either as a provocateur or as a victim of male aggression, depending on the outlet's editorial tone. These narratives often prioritize the most sensational elements, sometimes amplifying minor incidents to create a larger-than-life storyline. Beyond interpersonal conflict, Rock's personal life has been heavily scrutinized. Media reporting on her pregnancy announcement and subsequent public disputes over paternity with Blueface demonstrates how outlets capitalize on intimate details to attract readership. Coverage tends to highlight tension and controversy, frequently foregrounding public reactions, social media commentary, and celebrity gossip rather than providing nuanced context about her personal choices or privacy. This framing can influence public perception, encouraging audiences to view Rock through a lens of controversy and spectacle, rather than as a multifaceted individual navigating both professional and personal challenges. Interestingly, Rock's professional ambitions have also become a focal point for media narratives, particularly her recent forays into professional boxing. Reports covering her training sessions with high-profile athletes and participation in exhibition matches often juxtapose her professional goals with ongoing controversies in her personal life. While some outlets frame her boxing endeavors as evidence of empowerment and career diversification, others subtly undermine these achievements by embedding them within stories about drama or interpersonal conflict. This pattern highlights a common media bias in reporting on female celebrities attempting to expand beyond their initial fame. Professional achievements are often interpreted in light of personal controversies, rather than evaluated independently. The language used in headlines and articles also reflects gendered framing. Terms like meltdown, feud, or explosive frequently accompany stories about Rock. conveying emotional intensity in ways that reinforce stereotypes about women being overly dramatic or unstable. In contrast, coverage of male counterparts involved in similar disputes is often framed as competitive, assertive, or ambitious. This linguistic bias shapes audience perception subtly but powerfully, reinforcing narratives that cast Rock's behavior as inherently chaotic, while downplaying the structural or relational contexts of these events. Social media amplification further intensifies these portrayals. Platforms such as Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok not only disseminate traditional media stories but also generate new narratives, often through viral clips, memes, and commentary threads. Rock's public persona is actively co-constructed by both journalists and social media users. Viral clips of confrontations or provocative behavior are circulated alongside headlines, creating a feedback loop where media coverage and audience reaction feed into each other. This dynamic complicates traditional media analysis, as it blurs the line between primary reporting and audience-driven narrative formation. Moreover, the choice of sources and reporting plays a significant role in shaping Rock's public image. Many outlets rely on eyewitness social media posts, fan accounts, or insider commentary rather than independent investigative reporting. While these sources provide immediacy and appeal to digital audiences, they also increase the likelihood of bias, exaggeration, or misrepresentation. The reliance on user-generated content can amplify sensational aspects of a story while obscuring context, leading to a distorted representation of events. Another notable trend in recent coverage is the persistent attention to interpersonal relationships, particularly with other celebrities. Rock's interactions with ex-partners, fellow reality stars, and public figures often dominate headlines, sometimes eclipsing her professional endeavors. Media framing tends to highlight conflict, rivalry, or perceived manipulation, shaping narratives that prioritize entertainment value over substantive reporting. This focus reinforces the idea that Rock's value in the public eye is tied primarily to drama and personal relationships, rather than skill, talent, or agency. However, it is not only negative or sensationalist coverage that defines the media landscape around Rock. Certain outlets have attempted to contextualize her actions, providing background on the pressures of reality TV fame, mental health considerations, and the challenges faced by women navigating public scrutiny. These analyses are less common but offer a more balanced perspective, illustrating how media choices, what to highlight, what to downplay, fundamentally shape audience understanding. Even when coverage is not overtly critical, framing decisions such as headline, tone, image selection, and story placement influence the interpretation of Rock's actions. The intersection of entertainment reporting and social commentary is particularly evident in the coverage of Rock's boxing career. Media narratives often oscillate between skepticism and admiration, reflecting broader societal debates about women in male-dominated sports, while her boxing endeavors are occasionally celebrated as signs of empowerment. These stories are frequently framed against a backdrop of controversy or personal drama. By situating professional accomplishments alongside personal turbulence, media outlets contribute to a narrative that conflates agency with chaos, complicating public understanding of Rock's career trajectory. Finally, the cumulative effect of these reporting patterns underscores a larger phenomenon in celebrity media: the tension between individual agency and narrative construction. Chrisean Rock, as a public figure, exercises agency in career choices, public statements, and personal relationships. Yet the media's framing often recasts these choices within pre-existing narratives about women, fame, and conflict. By analyzing recent headlines and media coverage, it becomes clear that Rock's public image is not merely a reflection of her actions, but a co-constructed phenomenon shaped by journalistic practices, audience engagement, and cultural assumptions. In conclusion, the first part of this analysis demonstrates that Chrisean Rock's media coverage exemplifies broader trends in contemporary celebrity reporting. conflict-driven headlines, gendered framing, reliance on social media sources, and the juxtaposition of personal controversy with professional achievement all contribute to a public image that emphasizes spectacle over nuance. Understanding these patterns is crucial not only for analyzing Rock's portrayal, but also for examining the structural forces that shape media narratives around women in entertainment, highlighting the interplay between sensationalism, social media amplification, and public perception. While traditional media coverage shapes the foundation of Chrisean Rock's public image, social media platforms have become a central arena for audience engagement, interpretation, and amplification. Unlike structured journalism, social media enables audiences to actively participate in the narrative, turning consumers into commentators, critics, and even co-creators of celebrity stories. For Rock, this dynamic has intensified. Public scrutiny and magnified the consequences of every viral moment. Recent analysis of social media engagement around Rock highlights a recurring pattern. Posts featuring personal drama, confrontations, or provocative behavior consistently receive disproportionate attention. Viral clips of altercations, whether in reality show segments, live events, or social media posts, often trend on TikTok, Twitter, X, and Instagram Reels within hours. The framing of these clips is key. Short, emotionally charged visuals are paired with captions emphasizing conflict, explosive behavior, or sensational outcomes. This style of presentation encourages rapid, emotionally driven audience reactions, frequently leading to widespread commentary and mimetic dissemination. The audience's role in shaping Rock's narrative cannot be understated. In many cases, user-generated content effectively amplifies the media's framing, creating a feedback loop in which sensational stories are both reported and consumed, then reposted, reacted to, and reinterpreted. For example, social media users often recontextualize media clips, adding commentary that ranges from admiration to harsh criticism. The comment sections and discussion threads that follow these posts reveal the variety of interpretations and the degree to which public perception is actively negotiated. Fans may defend Rock's decisions or highlight empowerment, while detractors often emphasize perceived irresponsibility, emotional volatility, or manipulative behavior. This polarized reception illustrates the dual nature of digital fame. Visibility increases influence, but simultaneously exposes celebrities to relentless scrutiny. A particularly notable aspect of audience engagement is the creation of micro-narratives around Rock's actions. Social media users often reinterpret events independently of media outlets, sometimes attributing intent, motive, or character traits without confirmation. These micro-narratives can spread rapidly, further entrenching certain perceptions of Rock, such as portraying her as combative, attention-seeking, or resilient, depending on the framing. Importantly, these interpretations often circulate more widely than the original reporting, demonstrating the powerful role of audiences in co-constructing celebrity identities. Gendered dynamics remain central in this discourse. On social media, discussions around Rock frequently reflect cultural assumptions about femininity, emotional expression, and public behavior. Female celebrities like Rock are often judged according to standards that differ markedly from their male counterparts. Assertiveness may be interpreted as aggression, emotional expression as instability, and public confrontation as scandalous. These implicit biases influence both peer-to-peer discourse and the amplification of stories by algorithmically driven platforms, which prioritize engagement over context or accuracy. As a result, certain types of content, particularly that which highlights conflict, emotional intensity, or personal relationships, achieve viral status more readily than content that emphasizes professional skill or personal growth. The cultural context of Rock's fame also informs audience reception. Emerging from reality television, she occupies a space in which public scrutiny and performative exposure are inherent to her platform. Reality TV constructs narratives around conflict, drama, and relational tension, conditioning audiences to expect sensational content. This expectation carries over to social media, where audience members anticipate and reward behaviors consistent with established storylines. Consequently, Rock's public actions are frequently read through a lens shaped by her reality TV persona, which may exaggerate or distort her behavior for entertainment purposes. Media outlets capitalize on this predisposition, producing headlines and coverage that confirm audience expectations while minimizing more nuanced or mundane aspects of her life. The intersection of celebrity culture and mental health discourse adds another layer of complexity. Many stories about Rock touch on behavior that might be interpreted as impulsive, emotional, or provocative, while traditional media often frames these actions as scandalous or attention-seeking. Social media discussions increasingly include considerations of mental health, trauma, and coping mechanisms. A segment of the audience has reframed Rock's actions as reflective of systemic pressures on women in entertainment, including scrutiny, exploitation, and the challenge of navigating fame while maintaining personal agency. This shift demonstrates how social media can serve as a site for both reinforcement of and resistance to traditional media narratives. Furthermore, algorithmic amplification plays a critical role in determining which aspects of Rock's life dominate public attention. Platforms prioritize engagement metrics, likes, shares, comments, and viewing duration, which often correlate with sensational content. Stories or posts highlighting controversy, emotional intensity, or conflict are algorithmically favored, ensuring that these narratives reach a larger audience. In this sense, social media functions not only as a mirror of public interest, but also as an active agent in shaping what counts as newsworthy or notable about Rock. The result is a cycle in which sensational behavior is rewarded with visibility, encouraging repetition and perpetuating certain narratives while overshadowing less provocative content, such as professional achievements or advocacy work. This amplification has tangible cultural implications by foregrounding conflict, drama, and personal relationships. Media coverage and social media together construct a version of Rock that emphasizes spectacle over substance. This framing influences public perception, shaping beliefs about her character, decision-making, and overall persona. Simultaneously, it contributes to broader patterns in celebrity culture, where female figures are more likely to be evaluated based on personal drama and emotional expression than their skills, achievements, or creative output. These patterns reinforce social norms and expectations about gender, behavior, and celebrity conduct, affecting not only public perception of Rock but also the broader entertainment landscape at the same time. The conversation surrounding Rock demonstrates the potential for audiences to challenge or diversify mainstream narratives. Commentary that emphasizes agency, resilience, or professional growth pushes back against purely sensationalist framing, creating alternative narratives that highlight complexity and nuance. These counter-narratives, though less widespread than sensational content, indicate a growing awareness of the limitations and biases inherent in both traditional media and algorithmically driven social platforms. They suggest that public perception is not entirely determined by media outlets, but is shaped through ongoing negotiation between media, social platforms, and audience engagement. Finally, the case of Chrisean Rock illustrates the interplay between celebrity culture, media framing, and societal values. Her prominence in the headlines is simultaneously a product of media choices and audience demand, reflecting deeper cultural attitudes toward gender, behavior, and fame. The amplification of certain narratives, particularly those centered on conflict, personal relationships, and emotional expression, demonstrates how media and audiences collectively shape celebrity identity, often prioritizing spectacle over nuance. At the same time, emerging discussions that highlight agency, resilience, and systemic pressures suggest that public perception is not fixed, leaving space for more balanced and critical engagement with the realities of celebrity life. In conclusion, Part 2 emphasizes the central role of audiences and social media in shaping the narrative around Chrisean Rock traditional media sets the initial framing, but audience interpretation, algorithmic amplification, and cultural assumptions actively co-construct her public image. The patterns observed from the viral spread of sensational content to the negotiation of micronarratives and counternarratives illustrate the complex, multi-layered dynamics of contemporary celebrity culture. Understanding these dynamics is essential for comprehending not only Rock's media portrayal, but also broader trends in how female celebrities are represented, interpreted, and consumed in the digital age. By the time one surveys the breadth of media coverage surrounding Chrisean Rock, a clear pattern emerges: sensationalism, conflict framing, and audience amplification dominate her public narrative. Across traditional news outlets, entertainment portals, and social media platforms, Rock's actions are frequently depicted through a lens that emphasizes drama, personal relationships, and emotional intensity over professional accomplishments or nuanced context. This framing is not merely incidental. It reflects broader societal tendencies to scrutinize women in the public eye more harshly, often reducing complex individuals to archetypes of chaotic or controversial behavior. The cultural implications of this portrayal are significant. Media narratives about Rock do more than shape individual perception. They reinforce gendered expectations and societal norms regarding female behavior. Headlines highlighting meltdowns, feuds, or explosive confrontations implicitly convey that emotional expressiveness or assertiveness in women is inherently problematic. At the same time, her professional endeavors, including her entry into the boxing world, are consistently filtered through these personal controversies, demonstrating a persistent bias that links female competence to private life drama. Male celebrities with similar trajectories often receive coverage emphasizing ambition, strategy, or skill, underscoring the gendered double standard at play. Audience participation compounds this effect. Social media engagement magnifies the most emotionally charged or controversial aspects of Rock's persona, creating viral loops that reward conflict and spectacle. Algorithmic curation further accelerates this process. Content that generates strong reactions, regardless of accuracy or nuance, is amplified across platforms, shaping public perception at scale. As a result, Rock's identity in the public imagination is co-constructed by both media outlets and audience behavior, a feedback loop that often prioritizes entertainment value over truth. Yet, the narrative is not entirely deterministic. Counter-narratives have emerged among audiences who contextualize Rock's behavior within larger frameworks of fame, mental health and